I am God. I want to call this video, Who Stole the Pink Panther? So, if you've been watching my social media, you'll notice I've posted some films. The Pink Panther, The Return of the Pink Panther. Also, so I'll start there, okay? I just posted some other videos as well. I'll speak about those later on. So I have an interesting connection with, well, that's the thing, I'm God. And the thing is that art, music, film, TV, people's words and actions. You see, if people are aligned with me, everything they do, their words, their actions, their thoughts, everything they do is pleasing to me. And it's, you know, it's a good type of connection that I have with them. You know, I consider them my children. But most of the world, the vast majority of human beings are not aligned with me, and they're constantly in this, they're surrounded by foul spirits, and those foul spirits will work together to wage war against me with magic, and that is in the form of words, actions, art, literature, movies, music, poetry, all that kind of stuff, you know, worshipping idols, etc. So, and the thing is that, you know, I watch films, right? I watch TV, I watch YouTube videos, and I can see how people behave. I can see how it's a magic that's been done. It's all about trying to draw power from me without loving me. So, you know, now that I've made that point clear, it's something I have to explain, because again and again, because, you know, it's one of those things. It's hard to understand. So when I was growing up, when I was a little kid, I used to live in West Supermare. I used to live with my mum, Fiona. Excuse me. I lived with my mum, Fiona, and I lived with my grandparents. And you know, so I lived in Whirl in West Supermare, which is where I live now, in a different house. But and the thing is, I had an aunt and uncle. I had my aunt, who was a sister of my mum, and her husband, who's my uncle-in-law, and they had two sons about the same age as me. And I would spend a lot of time at their house, which was also in Whirl, at a place called Parklands Avenue. It was on top of a hill, and right behind their house was a park called the Batch. So now that I've explained that, let's carry on. So, you know, when I was at their house, in their lounge, there was a type of, I don't suppose you'd call it a bookcase, but anyway, there was this pull down cupboard, and it had videos in there. And, you know, I was always looking in there as a kid, you know, like, well, what should we watch? What should we watch? And one of the videos that was in there was The Return of the Pink Panther. Very interesting. And a notification just popped up on my phone saying I have memories to look back at on Facebook. It always happens at the weirdest times. Yeah, it always does. It's a magic thing. That's what it's trying to do. It's everything is trying to pull energy from me all the time. But anyway, I'm looking in this cupboard. I'm looking at these videos, and, you know, so when I was a little kid, you know, I was like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years old. you know, I would watch The Return of the Pink Panther. Because that's the funny thing, isn't it? Because it's, you know, it's more of an adult film, really. It's more of an adult's film, but you know, kids, they see the Pink Panther on it. You know, they see the Pink Panther, and you know, they kind of view it as almost like, oh, it must be like a type of cartoon or something. You know, it's got that sort of cartoonish. You know, for a kid to look at it, you know, a kid sees that cartoon character and it's like, oh yeah, let's watch it. So I watched that a lot when I was a kid. I'm not very familiar with the Pink Panther films, so I'm sort of going through them one by one at the moment. But you know, I was watching I watched the original Pink Panther. I wasn't that familiar with it, but I watched that, and then and you know, the interesting thing is that the diamond thief in the first film, I think, if I got that right. I'm not too. I struggled to follow the story a little bit. I'll be honest, because it was very it was in the early hours of the morning, and I didn't want to put it up too loud. But I got the impression that, you know, Charles Lytton, you know, he's like the thief guy, right? Especially in the first film. And that's the thing, right? My dad, his name is Charles. You know, I have the same birthday as King Charles III, 14th of November. Okay? And this is the thing, I'm God. I've returned to planet Earth. You know, the other film, the other film that we had in that cupboard was, so there was Return of the Pink Panther, and there was Return of the Jedi as well. You know, for years and years and years, the only Star Wars film I knew was Return of the Jedi. I didn't know any of the other films. So when they re-released them in the cinema, and I went to go watch them with my cousins, you know, when I saw, you know, I saw the first and second one. I saw A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. That was the first time I saw those films. And I saw them in the cinema. So, you know, that would have been probably the early 90s, I suppose. Probably. I think I watched them at the cinema in West-Supermare, actually. So it's very interesting, you know, so... And, you know, so, you know, I try to point out, like, so how does the art connect to me, you know? Well, first of all, you know, the Pink Panther, the inspector. So he's a detective guy, right? So he has to figure stuff out, you know? He's, you know, and I've told you all about the, you know, the Freemasonry and the anus, all-seeing eye, you know, and you know what, you know, people say, oh my God, you know, O is a circle, you know, there's lots of hidden code for that, you know, like pi, P-I, you know, pi is used for calculating circles, or, you know, you have pie in the sky, you have, you know, diamonds is another one, you know, we can talk about that a bit later, but, and you know how Rihanna, she talks about, you know, sings about diamonds in the sky, you know, stars, they, you know, the way they shine and stuff, blah, 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 and there's more to that, but let me just try not to get off track here, but, so, Inspector Clouseau, right, Clouseau, Jacques Clouseau. So his initials are J.C., which is the same as Jesus Christ, okay? In fact, in The Return of the Pink Panther, you see him in the museum. He's got his briefcase with all his tools in it, and it literally says on the briefcase, J.C. See, a lot of people miss that, don't they? Yeah, I mean, think about other people who got JC, you know, like there's Jeremy Corbyn, you know, people call, you know, a short name for Jeremy can be Jez, you know, like, you know, if you ever watch Peep Show, you know, there's Jez and there's Mark. I used to know a guy called Mark, yeah, my mum had a friend who was about my age. Yeah, and then he was called Mark. Yeah, you know, and you see her everywhere. It's like trademark. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, she was replacing me. She didn't want me as a son. She wanted Mark as her son. You know. Anyway, whatever. Look. Oh, it's bloody annoying. The amount of attacks I've had is crazy. You know, the amount of witchcraft people have done against me is absolutely insane. But let's keep going back. Let's go back to this. So there's the Pink Panther. And it's interesting, you know, in the first film, you know, when in the opening credits, you see the Pink Panther, and then, you know, you see the words come onto the screen, and it says Pink Pant, and then there's the her down there, and he picks it up and he shoves it next to the pant. So you got Pink Panther, yeah. There's magic going on there, okay, and they're demonstrating that you know they're putting the clue there, you know, they're showing it, they're showing that information, and even at the end of the Pink Panther, you see the Pink Panther, and it has a word, and it says "thend," so it's THEND, and then he pulls it apart, and he gets the end. You know, it's a demonstration of knowledge of magic. That's what it is. That's what they're doing. They're shining a light on their magical knowledge. Okay, that's what they're doing. That's what Freemasons do. Now, this is the thing. You know, you got all these, you know, musicians and movie stars and people doing interviews and talking and saying stuff. And that's the thing. People who are part of the secret societies, the Freemasons, right, for instance, they have a certain level of knowledge that they can recognize from a distance. Like, they don't even need to communicate with one another because they understand. They have a certain level of understanding of the code, that, you know, the words, the babble. They understand the babble in a way that the vast majority of human beings have no understanding of. Okay? You know, and I say no understanding, right? You understand? Are you standing up there or are you standing down there? Yeah, that's an example, okay? So, very interesting. So, you know, I watched The Return of the Pink Panther when I was a little kid, and I would always watch it at my aunt and uncle's house, you know, uncle-in-law's house, right? I'd watch it with my cousins. And I remember there's a scene in Return of the Pink Panther where Inspector Clouseau, he's in the room with the Hoover, and there's a lamp, and he puts his finger or his hand on the top of the lamp where the bulb is supposed to go, and he electrocutes himself, and he goes back flying across the room. And an interesting thing happened. Well, it's very interesting, like, because I remembered what happened to me. I was at my aunt and uncle-in-law's house. I remember my grandmother, she was cleaning the house, and there was a lamp in one of the upstairs bedrooms, and while she'd gone out of the room, she was changing the bulb or something, and I had switched it on, and I put my hand on it, and I burned my hand. I remember that. See, this is a magic. It's because it's a magic battle thing. That's why things like that happened, and you know, it's an ongoing thing. It keeps going. You know, that's why my life is. You know, that's the thing. People are. This is what I'm talking about. The art. It's a magic war against me. It's fighting me. So, you know, because that's the thing, you know, I'm light, I'm God, I'm the source of all power, and, you know, you look at the world, you see all these people, they want to be in the spotlight, don't they? They want to be stars, they want to be superstars, you know that saying, that expression, you know, stealing thunder or stealing light or stealing the spotlight. Yeah, it's like that. It's like that. Okay, because the thing, those who love me, they don't try to steal that light from me. They give me the glory. They give me, they elevate me. They try to elevate me to where I should be, because I'm God, because I created everybody and I created everything. And then the vast majority of the world is trying to do the opposite. They're trying to put themselves above me. And so that's the thing, when I speak the truth, the vast majority of human beings don't want to know that. They're surrounded by foul spirits. They are fighting me. They don't want to know what I have to say. They will accuse me of being a liar. They will lie about me. And they try to curse me and kill me. Okay? So, and that's not an exaggeration. So, it's really interesting as well, because when I remember there was a time, so when my aunt and uncle-in-law were still living at that house at Parklands Avenue, their house got robbed. Their house got broken into, which is fascinating, really, isn't it? I remember the story going something like, I wasn't there at the time, but it was in the middle of the night, apparently, and someone, I think it was one or two guys, they'd broken into their house and probably gone into the lounge area, probably had a look through, probably very close to where that videotape would have been, the return of the Pink Panther, strangely enough. And then they fled. They left the house, and I think they left a crowbar hanging on the washing line, and then they escaped across the park, the batch. Well, this is, what does it say about in the Bible? What did Jesus say? He says, I will come to you like a thief in the night. Fascinating, huh? So yes, the Pink Panther, or Pink Panther. Yeah. So it's all about catching that diamond thief. I think in the film they say it's like the most expensive diamond, and it's like the most impressive diamond in the world, pretty much. And it's the Muslims, in Lagash or whatever, they treat it like a religious object, I think. So in the Return of the Pink Panther, there's Charles Litton, or light on, lit, light, a fire is lit, lit and light, that's light, it's magic. These are magic words being used. So there's Charles Litton, and then there's his wife. Okay, so in the Return of the Pink Panther, she's the one who stole the diamond. Okay, and obviously my dad was called Charles, and my mom, well, she was married to him, but they divorced. Okay, so it all has to do with magic. It's all got to do with magic. And that's the thing, when I was Jesus, I was crucified, and one of the things I said was, Father, why have you forsaken me? It's interesting that, isn't it? I remember looking at a picture when I was a tiny little baby, and my mom and dad were in the picture, and my dad had a necklace he had a necklace on, and he had a 5-pointed witchcraft symbol, star, a 5-pointed pentagram star. So I can clearly see that he was a man who was dibbling and dabbling with witchcraft. Not to mention, the last time I saw him, he gave me a 10 to 20 page horoscope thing that he'd done. So when I was a little kid, he wanted to know more about me. He wanted to do a horoscope for me. So he went to some astrologer and paid money to get them to do this, printout of, everything based on my date of birth and location, and trying to get a detailed report of what kind of human being I am and all kinds of stuff. Well, that's a type of witchcraft, okay? And so, he's dibbled and dabbled with stuff he shouldn't have done. And that's the thing, like I said, I was Jesus, I said, Father, why have you forsaken me? But the thing is, I'm God. I'm God, I am Father. I was Jesus, I am Father. If you've seen me, you've seen the Father. You remember that? Yeah, well, Son of Man. Well, I'm son of myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm Father. The entire point of, what happened back then, well, a lot of it has to do with magic and magic words, and it's the anus, it was because of all this anus magic that's happened, that people do, that the world does, right? It's a magic war that had to be fought in a certain way, and obviously at the same time showing people how to be a son of God, and to show them a path that they can follow. It has to do with that. It has to, it connects in so many different ways. It's it's mind-blowing, really, isn't it? The more you think about it, I can sit for days and days and days just thinking about it. Just like I'm just like my head. It's hard. It's when you see it, when you know it, when you understand it, it's something that it's hard not to be in awe of it. It's like be like, wow, Anyways, so yeah, that's fascinating, isn't it? So my aunt and uncle-in-law's house got broken into by burglars. Yeah. And that's the other thing, okay? Because the return, okay, and that's the thing. That's the thing. I've spoken about Mary and how she is the world, okay? I'm Father, I'm Spirit. And then there's the world, which is, material substance. It's the matter. I made the comparison. My words, they matter. But it's not the same as, a pile of garbage or crap. That's matter as well, isn't it? And in Latin, matter means mother. This is the great confusion that's happened. It's the confusion of the Babel. Okay? Magic words that have been confused. Okay? This is the thing. The world wants to build its way. It wants to build a tower so it can get all the way to heaven, and through magic words. It's as simple as them saying the ground is the sky and the sky is the ground, sort of thing. But they do it with it's hidden, it's embedded in the words. It's code. You really have to study words, and you really have to study words and how they're formed, and it's a puzzle, and the more of it used, the more it's all about building the bigger picture, and it's all about seeing the bigger picture, and it takes time to build that and put that all together. So, there's the Pink Panther, and then, obviously there's, I was speaking about the return, okay? So, Mary, Mariana, okay? Because there's Rihanna, okay? And you know how famous and rich and influential she is, right? She's a very powerful witch. And she's involved with some very evil things, okay? You know, I posted on social media, you know, so that's the thing, you know, she's got that song, Diamonds, you know, diamonds in the sky, shine bright like a diamond. You know, like we'll shine together. You know, that song, Umbrella? Yeah, when I was at Pagites, when I was at boarding school at Charterhouse, you know, I was there the first week in September 2001. Okay, and then there was 9/11. Pretty much as soon as I went to that school. This was a couple of weeks after Aaliyah Dana Houghton died in a plane crash in the Bahamas. Okay, I was in a house at boarding school, and it was called Pagites, and our house colors were black and pink. Okay, I had a black and pink umbrella. And this is the thing, you know, you have Black Panther, okay? And, you know, Rihanna's been involved with the, you know, she's done songs for the movie Black Panther. And we all know what, well, you should know what Black Panther is. It's pretty much, it's a communist-led, for the most part. I mean, because they've always got the fist symbol, haven't they? And it's all about, you know, they feel unhappy about certain things, don't they? It's a racial thing, isn't it? It's they don't want to. They feel like there's unhappy, aren't they? They're unhappy with relations between white and black people, and so yeah. So you should know what Black Panther is, okay? So there's the Pink Panther, there's the Black Panther, and it's magic, is what it is, okay? It's a magic war that's happening. And obviously, you know, you have the film Black Panther, which is, you know, it talks about Wakanda, which is an invented, you know, black civilization, which is very futuristic. You know, it's full of all these crazy technologies, and you know, it's you know, it's and that's the thing, you know, it's yeah. What does that really, you know, what does that really indicate? You know, well, look, I've spoken about how the Israelites, the descendants of Adam and Eve were white people. Black people have been on this planet a lot longer than several thousand years. They've been here for a very long time. You know, so, and that's the thing. I'm Father, I'm Spirit. Okay, I'm white. And then there's Mother Mary. There's, you know, there's Mary, Mother Earth. You know, she is the soil. She's the material world. You know, everything you can think of. You know, pretty much. You know, if it's a physical material, yeah, that's basically her thing. But I created her. I created everything. So it's a magic war. Okay. You know, she doesn't share my spirit. You know, she wants to be, you know, she's materially minded. She doesn't love. She doesn't love me. There was a separation between me and her. So essentially, you know, that's the thing. You know, and I think what's basically happened is that, you know, there are those who went with her, you know, because they wanted to be of the world as well. They wanted to be of the world with Mother Earth, and so they were on planet Earth. And then there was Adam and Eve, and they did their thing, they made their mistake, and they were put to planet Earth as well. And it's like, well, yeah, you know, the ground's cursed for thy sake, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do now. And then, you know, hopefully if you've read the Old Testament, hopefully you've read the New Testament, hopefully you've read through all of that and you've learned something. Or at least you've got, you know, hopefully you understand the main point. Hopefully. So, you know, and the idea was that, well, the Israelites, you know, Christians, okay? So the idea was to spread it around the entire world so it would bless, you know, it would be a blessing to the world. So, you know, that's the thing. White people have been very blessed, and I've explained this. And there are other people around the world, and, you know, you can see that there's been a difference in blessings, you know, throughout in different places, okay? So I think, you know, and that's the thing, you know, the world wants to elevate itself to the heavens. And the world wants to make me sink as low as possible. That's what it does. You know, the world wants to be God. The world wants to be me. Well, the world wants to be God. The world wants my power. And the world wants to destroy me. And I'm always in battle against that. Okay? So, yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? So, we've got the Pink Panther, and we've got the return of the Pink Panther. I should have explained the Ree. So that's the thing. People call Rihanna, they call her Ree. Okay, her name, you know, people call her Ree. All right, and so if Ree, so this is her face, yeah. I mean, that's not her face, okay. But imagine, you know, you're looking at her face, and then she turns around, so you're looking at her backside. Okay, it's an anus magic thing. Okay, the return of the Pink Panther. Okay, so basically, you know, she has, you know, so what's that title really saying? It's saying the return is of the Pink Panther. You know what I'm saying? You know, because the return is before of the Pink Panther. It's magic. It's foul spirits trying to take. It's a magic drawing of power is what it is. Okay, it's trying to draw on my power, and that's the thing. You know, I was attacked. I've been attacked. You know, ever since I was a tiny little boy. Okay, you know, ever since I was born. You know, and beforehand. You know what I mean? Like, the world is always trying to attack me, and ever since I came back to this world and this body, you know, there hasn't been a day where people haven't been doing witchcraft against me. Okay, so it's made my life very difficult. It's made my life very difficult indeed. And the thing is that people around me, the people closest to me, get corrupted. You know, they don't love God, and then you know, and then they're not conscious that I'm God. And so what happens is they're surrounded by foul spirits, you know, and they think badly of me. You know, they don't have good opinions of me. They don't have any compassion for me. You know, they're doing witchcraft against me, and they're acquiring magical power all at the same time. And they become puffed up in their fleshly minds, right? and they're like, I'm so great, look at me, you know, and you know, and my life just falls apart. You know, I'm just getting attacked from every freaking angle imaginable. So yeah, okay. But I've explained this. You know, I'm explaining this and I'm revealing everything. Okay. So, you know, this isn't going to continue for much longer. Okay. This is coming to an end now. Okay. Is there anything else I really want to mention in particular? I'll tell you what, I'm going to have a cigarette. Have a little think. So there's another couple of... So what did I post? I posted the Pink Panther. Then I posted the Return of the Pink Panther. So isn't it interesting, yeah? So what have I done? So, yeah. Who stole the Pink Panther? Well, that's the thing, you know. I posted it to my social media page. It's there for anyone who wants to watch it. Yeah. Who stole the Pink Panther? Yeah. I'm doing magic. Do you understand? Have a think about it. Have a little think about that one. Why do I do what I do? Anyway, there's another 2 films I found, so I'm going to post those. So I posted the Pink Panther, The Return of the Pink Panther, and then there was Diamonds by Rihanna, and then there was that song Rihanna did for Black Panther, which was called Born Again. And then she had another song from that Black Panther film called Lift Me Up. Okay, and well, that's the thing, you know, I'm God. Okay, so she's saying lift me up. I mean, go listen to the lyrics of these songs. You know, you can put the captions on in the video. You know, press the C button on the keyboard, and you know all the lyrics appear. You can read through them for yourself. That's the thing. She's a very powerful witch. She knows what she's doing. She knows she's drawing on my power. She knows that she's the whore of Babylon. She knows she's evil. You know, she's in one of her lyrics. She's like, she's got enough angels she can storm the gates, or something like that. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, the world congregates around certain individuals like her. Okay, there was Aaliyah Dana Houghton. She played a role in that. You know, there was Fiona Salvin, the woman who gave birth to this body. She's part of that. And there's Rihanna. Okay, and so she's got a lot of demons. She's got a lot of witchcraft power. You know, she was used for this particular role to fight me. And it's the funny thing as well, because my mum was called Fee. Okay, and I'm male. So, you know, in terms of magic, you know, when you see the word female, I pretty much tick that box, because I'm male and I came out a woman called Fee. Okay, you know, I was her son. Do you understand? Can you manage to get your head around that one? Is it that hard? It shouldn't be that hard. Anyways, I managed to find 2 other films, so I'm going to post those after I post this video. There's the Pink Panther Strikes Again, and The Revenge of the Pink Panther. So I haven't watched those yet, so we'll see where this goes. But you know what Jesus said? What did I say? Vengeance is mine. So, yeah, I guess I'll speak to you later then. Okay? Enjoy the video. The videos.